In part 2, we'll be joining the petals to the main motif before making big petals. I spent many hours approaching the construction of these petals from different angles. Once I'd landed on a technique I was happy with, I spent more hours trying to make the execution of these rows, specifically the beginning and ends, as easy as possible. Some of my testers found this to be the trickiest part of the pattern, while others sailed through it. Every pattern has a Marmite part, and I guess part 2 is it. In this part, we are going to be joining 2 small petals and 1 central petal to each side of our main motif. So to start, we're going to identify the right side of a small petal, and it'll have these slip stitches in the middle, and the wrong side will have just a dotted line in the middle there. We're going to turn this small petal so the wrong side is facing us, and we're going to place it behind our main motif, like this. To join our yarn, we're going to make a standing single crochet in this chain 2 corner space, working through both layers. Still working through both layers, we're going to single crochet in the next 24 stitches. So with the right side facing, it's easy to see where the top of that first stitch is, but remember that the back one has the wrong side facing, so the loops will be after the post, and if you struggle to identify that, turn your work around so that you can see where you're going. It's only the first one that's going to be tricky. So that's our first of 24 single crochets. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, oops, and 24. And that 24th stitch on the back layer may be a bit tricky to get into. Now we're going to single crochet in the next stitch of the main motif and the next chain 2 space of the small petal. Working into the main motif only, we are going to single crochet in the next stitch, chain 2, and then single crochet in the next stitch. Now in the pattern I say to mark that chain 2 space with a stitch marker just so you can identify it when we come back around, but I'm not going to do that in the video. We're going to place the next small petal behind the main motif again, same as before, with the wrong side facing us, so the wrong sides are facing each other. And then working into the next stitch of the main motif and the next chain 2 corner space of that small petal, we're going to make a single crochet. And then we are going to single crochet in the next 24 stitches, again working through both layers and making sure that we identify that stitch correctly. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. And again, that last stitch will be a bit fiddly to get into at the back there. Working into the next chain 2 corner space, we're going to make a single crochet. Again, chain 2 and turn your work. At this point, it looks a little bit like a brassiere, doesn't it? Right, so with the wrong side of the small petal facing us, we're going to single crochet in that same chain 2 space of the small petal. Then we're going to single crochet in the next stitch, again making sure that you know your anatomy front and back. Now we're going to make a back loop single crochet in the next stitch. So I'm going to work only into that back loop. And then we're going to single crochet in the next 2 stitches. And then we're going to make a back loop only single crochet in the next stitch. And we're going to do that one more time. And in my mind, to keep it easy, I go, I love you. Right, so 2 single crochets and a back loop single crochet. Single crochet in the next 3 stitches. And then we're going to mark this last single crochet we just made with a stitch marker. Now we're going to take a central petal. I've marked the front of the piece here, just so I know that right side of that last round is facing me. So we're going to place the central petal in front of our work with the right side facing us. The initial yarn end pointing to the left or right if you're left-handed, but I've already worked it away. And the rounded end closest to you, and we're going to lay it down like that. I'm just going to remove this stitch marker before we start. Right, so working through both layers, single crochet in that marked stitch and the next stitch of the small petal through both layers. And then you can remove your stitch marker. Single crochet in the next 12 stitches, again working through both layers. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So this will bring us to the chain 2 corner space of both of these. Single crochet in the next chain 2 space through both layers. And then working only into that marked chain 2 space from the joining round, which I haven't marked, we're going to make a 5 DC bobble. And to do that, you're going to yarn over. Let's take this slow. Yarn over, insert your hook into that chain space, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, 5 times. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's number 2. Number 3. Number 4. And number 5. So you should now have 6 loops on your hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to yarn over and pull through all 6 of those. Then we're going to fold the central petal onto the next small petal, like that. And again, working into that chain 2 corner space through both layers, we're going to make a single crochet in the same chain 2 space of the central petal and that same the chain 2 space of the next small petal. Then we are going to single crochet in the next 13 stitches, working through both layers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Before you continue, I want you to open up your work and we are going to mark the first and last joining stitches into the central petal with a stitch marker on the back of our work. They will make a little dotted line like that. So we're going to mark that first joining stitch into the central petal. Oops. And that last joining stitch into the central petal. Working only into the small petal, we are going to single crochet in the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to make a back loop only single crochet in the next stitch. And then we're going to make a single crochet in the next 2 stitches. I love. And a back loop only single crochet in the next stitch. You. We're going to do that one more time. I love. And a back loop only single crochet. You. Then we're going to single crochet in the last stitch. We're going to single crochet in the next chain 2 space, chain 2, and join to that first single crochet with a slip stitch and fasten off. Right. So you should have 3 marked stitches. There they are. And when you turn your work around, this is what it should look like. Now we are going to repeat this for each of the 4 sides around. When you have finished your joining round, this is what your work should look like. Before we start this round, I'm going to show you what it looks like completed so that I can tell you this little note. It may be helpful for those of you who are working by touch or who are still struggling to identify their stitches. So when we're making the large petals later on, you'll be instructed to work into back loop only front loop combinations when working into the small petals, and they will form like a little equation mark on your work. They look like that. Right, and there's another one. And then there's another one. So if you are going to have trouble identifying them later on, you may wish to place stitch markers at these points that you can clearly differentiate or distinguish from, what am I trying to say? Stitch markers that do look different from these 4 that I'll be telling you to do. When you get to making the front loop only stitches in the central petal, if you want to mark the stitches you'll need to mark the unworked back loop only. So there's one there. And the 3rd loop with a stitch marker, like that. So that one's got a stitch in it. So there's the next back loop only unworked and 3rd. And there's the next back loop only unworked and 3rd. There's one more there. Same on the other side. So if you know that you're going to struggle to identify those, especially if you're using a dark yarn or you work largely by touch, please mark all of these as you make round 19 so that you can identify them later on. These corners are going to look a little bit wonky at this point. Don't worry about it. It looks like they're not going to match up, but they will be just fine. We are going to join our yarn by making a standing double crochet in any chain 2 space from round 18. And then we're going to make 3 more double crochets in that same chain 2 space. And when you're doing this round, please just make sure that the right side of your work is facing you. And that will mean that the wrong side of this joining row will be facing you. Into the next chain 2 space of the join, we are going to do a single crochet. And then we're going to do a little repeat, which will be single crochet in the next 2 stitches. And make a front loop single crochet in the next stitch. Single crochet in the next 2 stitches again. And make a front loop single crochet in that next stitch. Single crochet in the next 2 stitches. Make a front loop single crochet in that next stitch. And this will form those little markers we spoke about right at the start of this round. Single crochet in the next 3 stitches. And that will bring us to the central petal. When we work into the central petal, we're going to start in that first actual double crochet there, and it'll contain a slip stitch. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a single crochet into that double crochet that contains the slip stitch. And then we're going to make a front loop single crochet in the next stitch. So into the front loop only. Then we're going to do a little repeat, and we're going to do it twice. And the repeat is single crochet in the next stitch, front loop single crochet in the next stitch, and single crochet in the next stitch. So that's the first repeat. We're going to do that again. Single crochet in the next stitch, front loop single crochet in the next stitch, and single crochet in the next stitch. We're going to make a half double crochet in the next stitch, and then we're going to make 2 front loop half double crochets in the next stitch, and that should be the first stitch of an increase from the previous round. So 2 front loop half double crochets in that same stitch. We're going to mark the back loop and the third loop of the stitch you just worked into with a stitch marker. So I'm just gonna, sorry, I've got a stitch marker in my mouth. Sorry, I'm just gonna turn my work. And then this stitch I just worked into, I'm gonna mark that third loop and the back loop with a stitch marker. Is that clear? Turn my work back around. Now we are going to half double crochet and double crochet in the next stitch. Working into the next stitch, we are going to make a picot double crochet, and to do that we're gonna do a double crochet as normal. Then we're going to chain 3, and we're going to make a single crochet in the top of that double crochet we just made. So you may find it easier to just turn your work like this, and you'll go into both those loops of that double crochet, and make a single crochet. So that is our picot DC made. We're going to double crochet in the same stitch, and then we're going to make a half double crochet in the same stitch. So this will form a little corner like that. We're going to make a front loop half double crochet in the next stitch. Then we're going to make 2 half double crochets in the next stitch. I know it feels like it doesn't make sense, but it works out. We're going to do that little repeat we did before again. So we're going to do single crochet in the next stitch, front loop only single crochet in the next stitch, single crochet in the next stitch. And then we're going to do that again. Single crochet in the next stitch, front loop only single crochet in the next stitch, and single crochet in the next stitch. We're going to make a front loop only single crochet in the next stitch, and then we're going to single crochet in the last 2 stitches of the central petal, and it'll be this one and this one. Whew, okay, so that's that bit done. Now we are going to be working into the other small petal, the joining round of the small petal, and we are going to single crochet in the next marked stitch above the small petal. And the reason we marked it is because otherwise it may get a bit confusing. So I'm just keeping my finger there so I know which one that was. And we're going to make a single crochet into that stitch. Single crochet in the next 2 stitches. And then we're going to do a little repeat 3 times. And the repeat is make a front loop only single crochet in the next stitch. Single crochet in the next 2 stitches. And we're going to do this 3 times. So front loop only single crochet in the next stitch. Single crochet in the next 2 stitches. One more time. Front loop only single crochet in the next stitch. And single crochet in the next 2 stitches. We're going to single crochet in this next chain 2 space, and then we're going to mark the 3rd to last single crochet with a stitch marker. So 1, 2, 3. Do you call it the 3rd to last? You call it the 4th? Anyway, that one. And I think actually, let me scroll down on my pattern. Ah, yes, this is why I said my fun fact is the first to last anything is called the anti-penultimate. And I didn't know this until I designed this round. Right, let's get back to it. We're going to make 4 double crochets in the next chain 2 space from round 18. And then we're going to repeat this whole process. I will do this one more time and then I'll meet you at the end. So hopefully this time I'll be a bit calmer about it because it's quite a lot of thinking, this one. We're going to single crochet in the next chain 2 space. Single crochet in the next 2 stitches. Single crochet in the next front loop only. Single crochet in the next 2 stitches. Single crochet in the next front loop only. Single crochet in the next 2 stitches. And single crochet in the next front loop only. Single crochet in the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, and 3, which will bring us back to that central petal again. Working into that petal, we're going to make a single crochet in that first double crochet that contains the slip stitch. Then we're going to make a front loop only single crochet in the next stitch. And then we're going to start our little repeat, which will be single crochet in the next stitch, single crochet in the next front loop only, and single crochet in the next stitch. One more time, single crochet in the next stitch, single crochet in the next front loop only, single crochet in the next stitch, half double crochet in the next stitch, make 2 front loop only half double crochets in the next stitch, and this should be the first stitch of an increase from the previous round. And we are going to turn our work again and mark the back loop only in the third loop of that stitch we just worked into with a stitch marker. There. I've turned my work back around. Now we're going to make a half double crochet in the next stitch, and into that next stitch we're going to make a picot double crochet, which is a double crochet, chain 3, and then make a single crochet in the top of that last double crochet you made. Into that same stitch we're going to do a double crochet and a half double crochet. Front loop half double crochet in the next stitch, make 2 half double crochet in the next stitch, single crochet in the next stitch. This is our little repeat again, single crochet in the next stitch, single crochet in the front loop only of the next stitch, and single crochet in the next stitch. We're going to do that one more time, single crochet in the next stitch, single crochet in the front loop only of the next stitch, and single crochet in the next stitch. Then we're going to make a front loop only single crochet in the next stitch, and we're going to single crochet in the last 2 stitches of the central petal. Working into the join on the small petal again, and starting in this marked stitch, we're going to make a single crochet in that stitch and remove the stitch marker. Single crochet in the next 2 stitches, then we're going to start a little repeat again, front loop only single crochet in the next stitch, single crochet in the next 2 stitches, and we are going to do this 3 times. Front loop only single crochet in the next stitch, single crochet in the next 2 stitches, front loop only single crochet in the next stitch, single crochet in the next 2 stitches, make a single crochet in that next chain 2 space, and marking the third to last single crochet with a stitch marker. So that's 1, 2, and 3. You will need to repeat this 2 more times, starting with that 4 double crochet in this chain 2 space, and then I'll meet you back at the end. I have done all my repeats, and I'm going to join to that first double crochet with a slip stitch, and then I'll fasten off and work away my ends. Before we continue, we need to check that we have 4 stitch markers on each side. So I'm just going to turn my work around. 4 stitch markers on each side, not counting however many you chose to add to mark these spaces that we spoke about at the start of this round. So these 4 should be this one, the back loop only third loop combo specified above, that's behind your work. You should have one in the first, and last joining stitches of that central petal, and you should have one in the anti-penultimate stitch before a 4 double crochet corner. So that's 1, 2, 3, and that's my double crochet corner. So you need to have these for each of the 4 sides because we are going to need them when we make the big petals. Now we get to the exciting part of part 2, and we're going to make 4 large petals, one around each of these central petals. A few notes. You will make these large petals by working into the central motif you've created so far, so this entire thing, working in rows with the right side and the wrong side facing you in turns. So if you are not confident with your stitch anatomy with the wrong side facing, please have a look at the special stitches and technique post. Round 19 will curl over like this when we make our petals. We will tack it down later, so don't worry about that. And the first large petal will require a lot of concentration, but the other 3 will go much quicker. So for row 1, I'm just going to remove this, and we are going to chain 15. Then we are going to take a stitch marker, and we're going to mark the 4th chain from our hook with the stitch marker. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I'm just going to mark it through both those loops for now. Then we will pull up a long loop and remove our hook and place that to the side. Next, we're going to take our central motif and we're going to place it with the right side facing us, and then we're going to flip it over so that we can see the back of our work. So working into any central petal around, we are going to insert our hook from top to bottom into this marked back loop only 3rd loop combination. And I'm just going to remove that stitch marker. You can keep this in until the end of the large petal in case you need to frog back, but I'm going to remove it for now. Once we've done that, we're going to grab our long loop, like so, and then we're going to pull it through these 2 loops. We are going to make a double crochet in the top loop only of this 4th marked stitch. And then we're going to remove that marker as well. We're going to double crochet in the next 5 stitches, working into the top loop only. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. My work's already getting too big to fit on this space, so I'm going to have a think about how I do the rest of these rounds. Now we're going to half double crochet in the next chain, 1 loop only. And then we're going to single crochet in the next 5 chains, again 1 loop only. 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that is what your work should look like at this point. We're going to chain 2, and this is going to count as your corner. And then working down the other side of this chain, we're going to make a single crochet in both remaining loops of the next 5 chains. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Luckily, you've already done the small petals, so you will know how to work into these. Half double crochet in the next stitch, both loops, both remaining loops, and then double crochet in the last 6 chains through both remaining loops. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we're going to anchor this start of the petal by making a slip stitch through the next third loop and back loop only combination of the central petal. And then we're going to chain 2, and this does not count as a stitch here and throughout, that's to get you to the next space. And we're going to make a slip stitch in the next back loop only third loop combination. So I'm just going to open this up so you can see what it looks like. At this point, this is what your work should look like. Now we're going to turn our work. Remember that the wrong side of that last row will be facing you. So before you continue, just take a moment to identify your stitches and make sure that you know which loops belong to which post. With the wrong side facing, we are going to make 4 stitches in this first stitch, and we're going to do a treble. And then we're going to do an extended double crochet. So for that, you're going to yarn over, insert your hook into that same stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop. So far it's normal. Then you're going to yarn over and pull through only 1 loop, creating a little chain. Then you're going to yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. And then we're going to make 2 double crochets in that same stitch. Like that. It doesn't matter if this first stitch is a little bit loose, because once we tack it down, it'll look neat. We're going to double crochet in the next 4 stitches. Then we're going to make 2 double crochet in the next stitch. We're going to double crochet in the next 4 stitches. Half double crochet in the next stitch. And single crochet in the last stitch before the chain 2, and it'll be a bit tight to get into. Into the chain 2 corner space, we're going to do a single crochet, half double crochet, chain 2, half double crochet, and single crochet. Single crochet in the next stitch, half double crochet in the next stitch, double crochet in the next 4 stitches, my stitch markers are scraping on the table. Make 2 double crochet in the next stitch, double crochet in the next 4 stitches, In that last stitch, we are going to make 2 double crochets, an extended double crochet again, and I'll show you how to do that again. So yarn over and pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. And then we're going to make a treble crochet in that same stitch. We're going to insert our hook from top to bottom into the next back loop only and third loop combination. So not this one, not this one, but that one. And we're going to make a slip stitch. Then we're going to chain 2 and insert our hook from top to bottom into the next back loop and third loop combination, which is over there. Hopefully it won't be as tricky for you to get into them because you don't have to try and video what you're doing. Then we're going to turn our work. Row 3 is asymmetric. With the right side facing, we are going to make a treble into that first stitch, then an extended double crochet, and a double crochet. Double crochet in the next 6 stitches. Make 2 double crochet in the next stitch. And that should be the stitch before the increase from the previous round. Double crochet in the next 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And you should have 4 stitches left. 1, 2, 3, and 4 will look a bit weird. Half double crochet in the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and then single crochet in that last stitch. Into the chain 2 corner space, we're going to make a single crochet, a half double crochet, a chain 2, half double crochet, and a single crochet. Single crochet in the next 2 stitches, which will be there and there. Half double crochet in the next 2 stitches. Double crochet in the next 6 stitches. Then we're going to make 2 double crochet in the next stitch. And then we're going to double crochet in the next 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Into that last stitch, we're going to make 2 double crochets. An extended double crochet, and a treble crochet. Now we're going to insert our hook from top to bottom into the next back loop only and third loop combination. So not these, there it is. And we're going to make a slip stitch. We're going to fasten off at this point, but if you're using a single color, you can do a chain 2 and a hop to that space that we're going to be using next. So this is what your work should look like at this point. And like I said, round 19 will flop over, but we are going to tack that down later. So for now, I'm just going to open this up a bit crudely so that you can see what goes where. In round 4, we are going to join our color, our new yarn, as follows. With the right side still facing us and a slip knot already on your hook, you're going to insert your hook from top to bottom into the next third loop and back loop only combination, which is there. And that should be the last one on the central petal. And we're going to make a slip stitch. We're going to pull this stitch quite tight, and then we're going to turn our work. Ooh, all the ends. With the wrong side now facing, we're going to start in that first stitch, which is there, and we're going to make a double crochet and 2 half double crochets. Now we're going to make a front post double crochet around the next 23 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. 11, 12, oops, do that one again, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and now it's going to get a bit trickier because of those singles, 20, 21, 22, and 23. So this will form a lovely little dotted line on the other side of our work, on the right side. Into the chain 2 corner space, we're going to do a half double crochet, a double crochet, and a treble crochet, chain 2, working into that same chain 2 space, a treble crochet, double crochet, and a half double crochet. So that's what it should look like. You should have 6 stitches in that corner space. Working down the other side, we're going to make 23 front post double crochets again. So starting around that first stitch. It's a bit fiddly because the next one is a single. 1, 2, 3, 4, and now it will get a bit easier again from this point. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23, and 23 will fall around that first stitch from the previous round. Whew, okay, so into this next stitch, which is going to be a bit, the top is going to be a bit hidden, we are going to make 2 half double crochets and a double crochet. And I know that stitch already contains that front post stitch. So 2 half double crochets and a double crochet. Like that. Now we're going to join to the central petal by inserting our hook from top to bottom into the next back loop only and third loop combination there, and making a slip stitch. Chain 2, and then we're going to make a slip stitch in this joining stitch that contains the stitch marker. And you can remove the stitch marker. Now we're going to turn our work so that the right side is facing again. For row 5, we're going to work into this first stitch again, and we're going to make a treble, an extended double crochet, and 2 double crochets. Like that. Then we're going to double crochet in the next 12 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Then we're going to half double crochet in the next 16 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Working into the chain 2 corner space, we're going to make a single crochet, a half double crochet, a double crochet, then chain 2, double crochet, half double crochet, and single crochet. Working down the other side, we are going to half double crochet in the next 16 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Now we're going to double crochet in the next 12 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Into that last stitch, we're going to make 2 double crochets. An extended double crochet, and a treble crochet. So it should look like that. To end the round, we're going to make a slip stitch in the marked stitches of the joining round. So that's over there. And I'm going to remove this stitch marker. We're going to chain 2. And then we're going to insert our hook from top to bottom into the next back loop only, front loop only combination on the small petal. And that will be there. Just get a needle to show you. That will be there. So there's 3 singles and then that combination. Once you've made that slip stitch, you can turn your work. And now the wrong side is facing us again. With the wrong side facing us, we're going to make an extended double crochet in that last stitch from the previous round. And then we're going to make a double crochet in that same stitch. Half double crochet in the next 16 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Make 2 half double crochets in the next stitch. And then half double crochet in the next 16 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Single crochet in the last stitch before the corner space. Into that corner space, it'll be asymmetric. We're going to do a single crochet, a half double crochet, a double crochet, chain 2, a double crochet, and 2 half double crochets. Like that. Working down the other side, we are going to single crochet in that first stitch, then half double crochet in the next 16 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Make 2 half double crochets in the next stitch. Half double crochet in the next 16 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. So that will bring us to this last stitch again, and it'll be a bit twisted. So that stitch. This is also asymmetric. Into that stitch, we are going to make 2 double crochets. And 1 extended double crochet. Like that. To anchor this piece, we are going to insert a hook from top to bottom into the next back loop only, front loop only combination on the small petal, which will be there. And again, there'll be 1, 2, 3 singles before that. And we're going to make a slip stitch. We're going to fasten off because in the next row we will change colors again. Don't worry too much if your work is a little bit floppy like this. Just going to show you what it looks like at this point. It's a little bit wobbly. It'll be fine. We are starting row 7 and we've got the wrong side still facing us. We're going to join our yarn as follows. With the slip knot already on your hook, you're going to insert your hook from top to bottom into the next front loop only, back loop only combination on the small petal, which is there. And there should be 1 more left. We're going to make a slip stitch and pull that nice and tight. And then we're going to turn our work. Ends. With the right side of our work facing, we're going to work into this first stitch again, and we're going to do a double crochet. Get this end out of the way. And a half double crochet. We are going to back post double crochet around the next 17 stitches. So let's just isolate that next one and make our first back post double crochet. That's number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And you'll see that it's again creating that little dotted line like it did before. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Now we're going to back post half double crochet around the next 17 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. Now we're going to back post single crochet around the next 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Working into this chain 2 corner space, we are going to single crochet, half double crochet, chain 2, half double crochet again, and then make 1 more single crochet. Working into the other side, we are going to make a back post single crochet around the next 6 stitches. Sometimes I find it easier to turn my work around so I can see. So that's number 1. Number 2. 3. 4. 5. And 6. So I should have 6 dotted lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. Back post half double crochet in the next 17 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. Back post double crochet around the next 17 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, my yarn's getting tangled again. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and number 17 will fall around that last stitch. To finish the round, we're going to work into the top of that last stitch. I did that a bit sloppily. And we are going to make a half double crochet, and a double crochet. To join, let me just turn this. It's getting so fiddly to film. Okay, to join, we're going to insert our hook from top to bottom into the next front loop only, back loop only combination on the small petal. And we're going to make a slip stitch. Then we're going to chain 2 and insert our hook from top to bottom into the last front loop only, back loop only combination on that small petal. And we're going to make a slip stitch. Turn your work. With the wrong side of your work facing you, we're going to start round 8 by making an extended double crochet in that last stitch from the previous row. Sorry. I'm going to mess up row and round all the time. We're going to double crochet in that same stitch. Double crochet in the next 18 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Half double crochet in the next 18 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Single crochet in the last 7 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Working into the chain 2 corner space, we are going to make a single crochet, half double crochet, double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, half double crochet, and a single crochet. Fiddly bits. Working into the other side, we are going to single crochet in the next 7 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Half double crochet in the next 18 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Double crochet in the next 18 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. There should be one stitch left, and into that stitch we're going to do a double crochet and an extended double crochet. To end this round, we are going to insert our hook from top to bottom into the next back loop only, front loop only combination on that small petal. And we're going to make a slip stitch. Oh, that's an untidy slip stitch. Then we're going to chain 2. And we're going to insert our hook into the next chain 2 space of the small petal, which is over there. And it will already contain the slip stitches from the joining round. Well, not the slip stitches, the stitches from the joining round. So I'm just going to insert my hook, and I do it between those 2 stitches and make a slip stitch. So we're going to turn our work. Row 9 will be asymmetric again. With the right side facing us, we're going to make an extended double crochet in the last stitch from the previous row. And then we're going to double crochet in that same stitch. If you wish to, you can mark this first stitch with a stitch marker, just so you can identify it in the next round. I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Right. Double crochet in the next 21 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. I always like counting in 4s up to 20 if I've got really long repeats. Otherwise, if I count in 10s, I get too confused. What are we doing next? Half double crochet in the next 25 stitches. 1. But now I have to count in 5s because this is a repeat of 5. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. So hopefully there's one left. Yes, there is. Single crochet in that last stitch. Chain 2 space is going to be asymmetric again, what we do in there. So it's going to be a single crochet, half double crochet, double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, and 2 half double crochets. Working into the other side, we are going to single crochet in that first stitch and half double crochet in the next 25. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Double crochet in the next 21 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21. Oh, that felt a bit like when you're driving and you forget what you've done. Into this last stitch, we're going to make a double crochet and an extended double crochet. Turn your work, well, just flip it over, and to fasten this bit, we are going to make a slip stitch in this chain 2 space from the small petal, working between those stitches that it already contains. And we're going to make a slip stitch, and then we're going to fasten off and work away our ends. And again, I'm going to show you what it looks like at this point. I'll probably end up taking a photo so you can see all 4 points, because this does not fit on my camera. But so those are the petals done. So once you've done all 4 of these petals, one on each side, I've already made a start on some of the other ones. Then we're going to move on to the next round, which will be a framing round. Just by the way, well done for getting this far. This is probably the trickiest bit of the pattern. Like I said, Marmite. Once you have made a large petal into each of the 4 sides, continue with round 20, the framing round. We are going to join our yarn by making a standing single crochet in the first DC of a 4 DC group from round 19. So I'm going to join my yarn into that first DC with a standing single crochet, and then I'm going to single crochet in the next 4 stitches. So I should have 5 single crochets now. And this is where our repeat will start. We're going to half double crochet in the next stitch, and then make a double crochet in the next stitch. And I recommend that you put a stitch marker around the post of this double crochet so that we can find it later on. Working into row 9 of the large petal, we're going to back post double crochet around the next 52 stitches, making sure you don't accidentally work around that first chain 2, and that's why we put that stitch marker there. So I'm going to make my first back post double crochet around that stitch with a stitch marker. And then I'm going to remove the stitch marker. You already know how to make the back post double, so I'll do 10 or so, and then I'll meet you back when I've done all 52. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 46, 47, 48. And here it gets tricky again because of those singles. 49, 50, 51, and 52. Into the next chain 2 space, we're going to make a half double crochet, a double crochet, chain 2, a double crochet, and a half double crochet, like that. Working into the other side, we're going to back post double crochet around the next 52 stitches. So that's number 1. 2, 3, 4, 5, 50. Man, am I glad there are 2 stitches left. 51. And 52. Working into round 19, we're going to double crochet in this next marked stitch. I find it easier to remove the marker and just hold my place with my nail. Double crochet in that stitch, and once you've removed that stitch marker, you can place it around the post of the double crochet you just made. That'll just make things easier later on. Half double crochet in the next stitch of round 19, and then single crochet in the next 6 stitches. So 1, 2 should fall in that first double crochet of the 4DC group, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So this is where the repeat will start again with that half double crochet in the next stitch and double crochet in the next stitch. I'm going to do that around, and then I'll meet you at the end just before we do these last few stitches before joining. I'm almost at the end of that last repeat. I've done my 52 back post double crochets, and now I'm at the point where I'm going to work into this mark stitch again. So I'm just going to remove my stitch marker, oops, and make a double crochet in that mark stitch from round 19, and then put a stitch marker around the post of that stitch I just made. Half double crochet in the next stitch, and then because we've already made the first 5 single crochets when we started this round, we are only going to single crochet in this last stitch and then join to the first single crochet with the slip stitch. In this round we are going to tack down round 19. As you can see, it sticks up a little bit, and you can see the gaps created at the start and end of each long petal row. So what we're going to do is work through each of these stitches from round 19, and we're going to try and catch these long petal, large petal rows everywhere we can, really. Well, you can use surface slip stitches like we did for the small petals, but I find that very fiddly. I'm going to use back stitches, but I want to show you the difference between a running stitch and a back stitch, because you can also use running stitches if you find that easier. These are just some random motifs. So this is the running stitch. It'll make a little dotted line over your work. Only reason I hesitate to use this is that it is quite easy to pull your work tight and then distort it. Whereas if you use the back stitch, each stitch is sort of locked in and it doesn't distort your work, or it doesn't depend on how hard you yank your yarn. So running stitch, if you choose to do that, is just in and out like this, into one stitch, out through the next stitch. Quite simple. I believe Michael said he was going to use the running stitch to tack this down. For the back stitch, Start from the back and then make a stitch into the next stitch, and then from back to front into the next stitch, and front to back into the previous stitch. Back to front into the next, front to back into the previous. So that's what we're going to be doing, and basically this part is a just wing it. You just want to tack this down neatly. I will show you how to do the first 9 stitches as I did in the photo tutorial, but please remember it's not as prescriptive as doing it exactly the way I'm doing it now. I'll be using a contrasting yarn so you can see what I'm doing and I'm using a shorter piece. When I actually go to do this, I will use about a meter length at a time, but that's up to you. Shorter is easier to handle. To start, we're going to insert our needle from back to front into the second hole up the center of that large petal, and we're going to pull through. Then we're going to insert it from back to front into that chain 3 space at the top of the central petal. Front to back, we're going to insert our needle into the second stitch and into the space between these 2 stitches. Front to back and then back to front into that last stitch. And then back to front into the next stitch of the central petal. Insert your needle from front to back into the previous stitch, and again between those 2 stitches, and from back to front into the top of that same stitch, and back to front into the top of the next stitch. Insert your needle front to back into the previous stitch of round 19, and I just make sure that I don't do it under the loop like that. Do it above the loop. Into that same last stitch, and then out between the chain 2 and the first stitch of the next round, and then back to front into the next stitch of round 19. Insert your needle from front to back into the previous stitch and into the last stitch of that large petal row 1, and then out again through that same chain 2 space, and then back to front into the next stitch. You'll notice here that we worked into the same stitch space combination on the back twice, and sometimes that will happen when your stitches align like that. For the next stitch, we are going to insert our needle from front to back into the previous stitch of round 19, and from back to front in the next stitch of round 19, and we're not catching anything at the back because there's nothing really to catch. It's over a chain space, and sometimes that will happen. If you're worried about this, you can always catch one of these loops if you feel like it. Insert your needle front to back into the previous stitch, then between the chain 2 and the first stitch of large petal row 2, and then from back to front into that last stitch of large petal row 2, and back to front into the next stitch of round 9. Insert your needle from front to back into the previous stitch of round 19 and into that first stitch of large petal row 2, and then from back to front between those 2. I think it's the chain, is it a chain space? Oh, the last 2 stitches of large petal row 3, sorry, and then back to front into the next stitch of round 19. Insert your needle from front to back into the previous stitch of round 19 and between the last and second last stitches, which is there again, same space, and then insert it from back to front into that last stitch of large petal row 3, and back to front into the next stitch of round 19. So now I'm going to go a bit quicker and you'll see that it really is just the winging it part. Yep. It's quite nice to do with some gentle music. May I suggest listening to Universe in Bloom? And a nice cup of coffee. Where am I going next? There we go. When you get to this part, you're just going to work around 19, like that, and you won't be able to see, well, I mean, you'll be able to see the dotted lines, but they won't be visible because you'll be using the same color. So I'm just going in and out the top of those stitches. And when you get back to the part where your round 19 overlaps your large petal, you'll start working through that again, just as we did before, making sure that you catch whatever you can at the back there to make it nice and neat. In terms of neatness, the only area to worry about really is making sure that this chain 3 at the center of your central petal aligns with that central dotted line on your large petal. So I am going to undo this now and do it with the green, and I'll meet you once I've done all of them. Yay, I'm all done with that tacking down. And so this brings us to the end of part 2. To show you again what it looks like at the back. And if you've gotten this far, brilliantly well done. The next bits are going to be easier. And after part 4, we'll be working in rounds, so that will become even easier.